And now, live from Pod Cabin in Burbank, California, it's the Alicent Rosen is Your New Best Friend show. Tonight, Alicent welcomes a guest. He's a comedy writer and author of the celebrated and acclaimed novel Snot Goblins and Other Tasteless Tales. It's Rob Kuttner. Tone Zone is here to announce his outrageous and inflammatory neutral opinion about Taylor Swift. I'm her husband, Daniel, saying hop on board the love bus and say hello to your new best friend, Alicent Rosen.
Alicent Rosen. Alicent Rosen is your new best friend. Alicent with her good times never end. Alicent Rosen, doing the wavy pencil dance again. Alicent's your new best friend.
Hello, my little brie and butter baguettes. Welcome to another exciting episode of Alicent Rosen is Your New Best Friend. That particular delicious to me right now sounding carbohydrate was sent in on Patreon by Lisa Lowry. All sorts of stuff on Patreon. You can get episodes of The Friend Zone. That's my bonus Patreon podcast. You can submit carbohydrates. You can submit questions. You can see photos that I post and videos and other stuff. I mean, if you want the inside track on me, go there, but also go to Substack because I'm spilling the beans one bean at a time. Pretty good, right, Tony? Pretty compelling.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I know. I've been cycling through a few different teases. The other one was I'm telling secrets about my time on the Corolla show, but then I prefer the bean by bean because, you know, there's some Corolla beans in there, but there's other beans too. It's like a dense bean salad. That is a reference for just a certain group of my listeners. Anyway.
Hell yeah.
Thank you. Patreon.com/Alicent Rosen. If you're going to do a subscription, why not opt for the annual one? You get 2 months free.
That's a good deal.
There's a dead bug just sitting right here on the table, and this show cannot continue while it's there. Daniel,
I have had it with these bugs.
Do we have anything to... Yeah, thank you.
Fine.
Wow, look, you did something.
It's 2024. Women take care of bugs themselves. I would like to say hello to my guests. Hello, Rob Kuttner. Welcome.
Hello, me.
Welcome back.
Often a pleasure.
Wonderful to see you. Did you say often a pleasure?
You got it. No one gets that.
I did.
I'm like, go back and hear that. There was a joke in there. Which is the best way to tell a joke.
Yes, it is. I like to point. Oh my God. I tweeted something yesterday and it's been getting like a medium amount of likes, but my concern is that no one gets it. I'm going to say hi to everyone and then I'll.
Medium is a lot for you.
Yeah. It's a lot for anyone.
Yeah. Actually,
well,
I get like 1 or 2 these days. The engagement. And I put that on you, the listener.
Below the toilet.
It's your problem, not mine.
Medium then for my current level of engagement. So a very small amount.
I see.
But of the small amount I get these days, it's medium. Yeah. Hello, Daniel.
Hi. I feel like this is a better time to be recording the show, even though it's more inconvenient for my schedule.
Daniel is up in his head about the episode the Monday episode of this week's When You Hear This, the one that just came out, because he felt that because we recorded at 3:30 p.m. or something, he wasn't on the ball. I think it was fine.
It's like there's enough work in. I've done enough engagement with work during the day, and my brain hits that little like what do they call it, the valley
sunsetting?
of fatigue.
The wall. You hit the wall.
Yeah, the wall.
There's a valley of fatigue.
Well, I'm trying to remember the product. It was like it was a product. It was like a coffee or something, and it was like the something valley of fatigue. Yeah, I can't remember it.
Folgers.
From the 80s.
International Coffee House Blends.
No.
Calgon, take me away. That's not even a coffee.
Calgon, no. But so I was feeling a little cranky, a little ornery, and just not sharp, and then I feel like that doesn't make for good podcasting.
I surprised Daniel,
or even decent.
I surprised him, which I didn't think it would really. I didn't think of it like I'm going to bury this one and then boom, just when he doesn't expect it, I'm going to read an email wherein someone said they're not going to listen to my show anymore because of Daniel. But it was so like facile that I figured, come on. But then I think it did
I got ranty
get under your skin.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Did you find it, Tony?
Fine.
The Valley Fatigue.
Oh, no. I'm sorry.
I thought you were searching for it.
No. Sorry. I got distracted by a million other thoughts.
No, it's okay.
You got distracted by how interesting the show is so far.
Exactly.
Sometimes Tony forgets he's supposed to produce, and he's just like, I get a front row seat to all this.
He has said, like, I'd do this for free.
Yeah. And I've said, well, I'll take you up on that eventually. Which is quite a switch from when I used to give him $40,000 an episode. No, you gave me $40,000 an episode.
If we didn't record on Zoom.
That's right.
Yes.
It was, yes. Right. So if you think about it, him doing it for free is a discount.
That's true.
All right.
I'm going to be honest with you. With all the talking that just happened now, I already forgot what the expression was.
Don't even sweat it.
That's okay, because I wanted to say
Valley
hello.
of Fatigue.
Valley of
It
Fatigue.
was a terrible
Valley
Western,
of Fatigue.
by the way. From the,
Okay.
Yes,
I
it
knew the word
was.
valley.
It's
Literally, I knew valley and fatigue was in there. I forgot the word of.
So what are the options?
God. Maybe this isn't
Valley
the best
under
time for
fatigue.
I thought there was like another big word I was forgetting, but no, just overthought
You
it.
have prepositionoma, don't you?
Oh.
Oh.
Highly underreported.
Yes, it is. You can get extra time to take your test if you have that.
Oh, actually, the first thing that comes up is somebody saying, I could have sworn this was for... Oh, it's from, well, they thought it was Geritol, but apparently it was Welch's?
Welch's,
grape
yes.
juice.
It was the Welch's Valley of Fatigue,
And
which is
grape juice
Welch's
helps-
was trying to brand or was trying to sell grape juice as a solution to the Valley of Fatigue.
Because
So-
it's like pumped
Pure
with sugar.
sugar?
Yeah,
Yes.
Welch's is pure sugar.
That's right. That's right.
That was their other slogan, and that one didn't take off.
Pure sugar.
Welch's, we're pure sugar.
I feel like Welch's at some point just gave up entirely. Like, when was the last time you saw a Welch's ad? Like Welch's grape soda?
But also, when was the last time you saw I could have had a V8 with someone walking slanted down an office? I'm sorry, I was free associating to other things we haven't seen.
Anyway.
That was the original FOMO V8. I could have had a V8.
Yes.
Like, just think of what my life had been if I'd had a
Right. It's a
vegetable
real
compote.
sliding doors.
When was the last time you really saw an
Multiverse.
ad for anything that wasn't just a random, like, online
Medication?
product? Yeah, like medication or
Yeah.
insurance.
The algorithm
company.
has found all of us.
Yeah.
I think it's just our children who are seeing ads because they're such easy marks. Like, I will listen to, and this is terrible parenting, I'll admit it, but I'll listen to Owen on his iPad.
Well, we have the premier YouTube or whatever they call it, so they don't see YouTube
Premium, I
ads. What they see are the paid content that's like woven into the kids.
So
Much better.
it'll be like, if
So
you don't
insidious.
hit like and subscribe right now, something will happen to your dad. No one's like, oh, shoot.
And every single time, it's so cute. Every single time they say like and subscribe, he will do it. Like, he's like, okay.
Wait, let me ask this. Does he literally smash that like button though?
He smashes
Yes, he
it.
does.
Okay.
He's just very diligent. He's like, okay, like, subscribe.
Yeah.
I mean, just doing what they said.
Asked and answered.
Yes.
And then so Owen is obsessed with the solar system. This is our younger son. And he likes to play this game called Talking Planets, where we all have to pretend to be planets. And it's a whole thing. But yesterday he wanted to, so we started the game at dinner and then he wanted to continue it in various rooms throughout the house. So I was being Jupiter and he was being Io, one of Jupiter's moons, but he also was being Europa and Ganymede, which are Jupiter's other moons.
I'm a
And then,
moon hog, am I right?
Yeah.
Up here.
Right.
Up here.
yeah.
Why's my hand to myself? Why are the parents not joining him in the high five with their child?
So then he was telling the story, and then he goes, like, subscribe, and watch part 2. Like and subscribe for part 2.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They'll do just videos for grandma. Elliot will do a video for grandma, and then he'll say like and subscribe.
Hit the comments down below. Yeah, but
I have a question about that game, Talking Planets.
yes,
If you're having an identity crisis, can you be Pluto?
Oh, of course. That's a good
Yes.
one.
I
Yeah.
just feel like that's welcoming for.
I think
we
so.
just don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Well,
I think-
wait, is your understanding that we don't know? Because I thought it was just like, hey, you're not a planet
Doesn't it-
anymore.
well,
You're a
it's
dwarf
gone
planet.
back and forth.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, really?
I
Yeah.
think that
now
they,
it's back to not, but then I don't remember.
I think they have permanently demoted it because I think
It got me
it's
too'd,
smaller. I think it's smaller.
canceled.
Yes, it did.
It did.
It might be smaller than Eris, I think, which is a dwarf planet in the Kuiper Belt. And if we kept it as a planet, then we would have to add a planet. I think that was the idea. So
It looks like they're officially calling it a dwarf planet.
yeah. So they
Yeah.
created a
who
category.
decided that? Is there like some lobby? Like
There is a
planets?
body of there's like an astrological association that decides these things.
So someone's
it
in
like-
the pocket of Big Planet.
I mean, really, right?
Who are
Big
these
small
people?
planet.
Who are these people? Is right.
Who are
How come we
APAC?
don't know who they are?
APAC, the dark planet money. But Owen did pay me quite a compliment. He said that when he's older and has a phone, he's going to go to my Instagram channel and watch my videos because he loves me, which is like pitying as well.
He's humoring you now.
I know. And I told my mom this, and she's like, but he could watch on his iPad. And I said, I don't need him to know
Honey,
that, though.
honey.
I don't. You say I haven't?
Did you say hi to Tony?
I was going to see if she figured it out, but
Oh
you
my
know.
God.
I'm trying to save you.
You know why I didn't?
See, he's gonna get
you-
he's gonna get disgruntled and then leave us if you don't.
He's
say
like the
hi.
Pluto of this podcast.
No. He's been-
You know why?
I'm a dwarf producer.
You know why? Because you're like, oh, hey, Valley of Death. Could you look that up, Tony? As if you're his boss. This is your fault. And then he got distracted. And then I was forced to talk about V8 and planets for 45 minutes. Hello, Tony. Welcome.
Oh, hi. And Daniel, just so you know, we're recording the Thursday show, and Rob Kuttner is here.
I was here. Did you think I just stepped out? Yes, that was.
I had to solo that. from last week.
Favorite moment from recently. Okay. Lot to get into. Before the show started, we were talking about name pronunciation.
Yeah.
And I recently introduced myself to another mom. And then she said, and I've never heard this my entire life. She said, Alicent or Alicent?
Whoa.
Alicent.
Alicent? Is that the negative version, like can or can't?
I guess like Alicent or Alicent. That is the question.
Wait,
It made me realize, wow, I must really be mumbling.
but can you think of an Alicent? I feel like that's like a literary name or something.
No,
maybe, or-
I don't think
I
so.
think it's a prescription drug. Like,
Yeah.
Ask your doctor about Alicent.
Alicent.
Do not
Totally.
take if allergic to Alicent.
Yes, it is.
It's the new treatment for plaque psoriasis. Yeah. And then is it like Alisunt? Alicent?
It's so
Or is
odd.
it like Millicent with an alley to begin with? I don't know. It was the weirdest thing.
Do you think
And
she heard a T out
yes.
of you?
I think maybe I was I think I was like, hi, I'm Allison. Probably not like that. Allison, today. I have no.
Yeah, like you
It looks like Alicent might be an old German name, actually.
Oh my God. If this turns out that
Was
she's.
she German? Germanic?
No.
Nordic?
She did have like one of those Viking hats.
Yeah.
But I assumed she was Nordic. No. If it turns out that this is some super scholarly reference, I will eat my hat. Because the funny thing is, it almost seemed rude. I don't know why. I think like most people I know hate names. Like my sister is Laura. She does not love the name.
Laura or Lorat?
Yeah.
Lorax. It's a Seuss reference. And if someone says Laura or Lauren, she's like, it's Laura, you know.
But at least Lauren is a name that you hear.
I know, but I'm just saying most people don't love a name that is like very, very similar to theirs, but it isn't. So maybe that is why I'm not embracing the possibility that my name is Alicent. But yes, it seemed weirdly rude. And yet it's actually uber polite because she was trying
Sure.
to find out what my name was. But I think it's holding up a mirror to the fact that I'm not speaking clearly.
The problem here is that people have just gotten too crazy with names. It's just you're getting too creative, and now no one knows what's going on.
And just
anymore.
tweaking names unnecessarily.
Yeah.
Right.
And just
Like a guy's I'm friends with he just sent me something and I realized his name is Jason is Jayson and I'm just like, I don't think can we still be friends? I'm not sure.
I always wonder about that. Is that the parents just like trying to be unique, or is it truly? Because I had an ex-girlfriend named Monica, but it was spelled Monaca, and she was convinced that her parents just didn't know how to spell it, and that's why her name was spelled that way.
That's funny. Well, see, as an Alicent, I have.
By the way, Cent it looks like.
Oh, really? Okay. So I had one L as in Alicent, And I always wonder when I have to say 1L, is that the same as saying Carrie with a K or Kathy with a K? Or like how much of a deviation from the norm is Alicent with an L, with 1L?
No, just start introducing yourself as it's like Alicent but with no T.
I feel like both are acceptable.
Okay.
With Alicent. I always felt like ALL it looks like it should be pronounced Alicent.
It does look that way.
I've got to duck out for a minute.
Oh no. You're dipping out. We'll never get to your hey, go fuck yourself. And I know you were full of piss and vinegar.
He's never coming back.
He's never coming back. And like, I don't just mean he's leaving the podcast. He's leaving the marriage.
Pack of cigarettes. Yeah.
Exactly. This is the time that we say goodbye to Daniel. It's been fun, but goodbye.
He's having an eat, pray, love, I think.
Yes. Which by the way, I never read that or saw that, but I haven't. Have you guys?
No.
It's kind of a horror fiction for guys. I
Yeah.
think, really.
Okay. Ooh, this will be fun. Let's all go around and say what we think happens. Okay. I think, is it like that other more famous or more seminal feminist tome? What is it called? Where she's just like, I can't be here for my family and I'm going to take off and find myself. What's that one called? Do you know the one I mean?
That's what I think of as this.
I feel like this is
earlier,
more sudsy. This is more like fun to read probably. And the other one feels more like a textbook. But what is it? It was like almost like passed around underground by women. It's
you're asking the right crew today.
Yeah, I know. Did you major in women's studies? It's like the second sex or
in
something,
a way,
but it's not. Up top.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter. Okay, my sense of Eat, Pray, Love. I think her marriage falls apart, but I don't know if she decides that she can't be in the marriage anymore.
Cause effect, yeah.
And then I don't know if she has kids, and then she travels around Europe eating food and discovering and finding herself. That's my sense of the book.
I feel like she does have kids, and that's why I kind of resent it as being in a family with kids,
right?
Leaving someone with the kids.
Yeah,
I might be wrong though, so it might be completely free-floating resentment, which is fine.
That's fine too. Tony, what do you think happens in Eat, Pray, Love?
I have no clue. I'm just going to go with it's just like the overly simplified, corny. Like those are the three most important things to her.
Yes,
eating, praying, and loving.
Okay, could you look it up now? Mm-hmm. We need a plot summary of Eat, Pray, Love. Oh, is it Cheryl Strayed? Strayed?
Oh, yeah. Wait, that's called Wild, right? Is that the thing that...
Oh, okay. Who wrote Eat, Pray, Love? Oh, Elizabeth
Gilbert.
That's right.
Yeah, but is that what you're talking about, where she goes on a...
No. I'm going to look it up.
It says this chronicles the author's trip around the world after her divorce and what she discovered during her travels.
I think I got pretty close. Does she have children?
It doesn't... No, I don't think so.
Free-floating resentment.
Because it just says, was educated, had a home, husband, and a successful career as a writer. It says nothing about children.
Unless she ate them. Like maybe that was the first.
Yes, that's the eating.
Listen, we told you what the book was about. We didn't specify.
Oh, I know what I'm thinking of. The Feminist Mystique by Betty Friedan.
Right.
Tony, will you look up The Feminist Mystique to see if I'm right that one is a precursor to, is like the prequel to Eat, Pray, Love.
The origin story of it. It's like why you should eat, pray, and love, right?
Yes, exactly.
Let's see. The feminine mystique begins with an introduction describing what Friedan called the problem that has no name, the widespread unhappiness of women in the 1950s and early 60s. This goes on for a while. I don't know how much you want me to read of that, because the initial synopsis was not...
Does she leave her marriage and go find, and her children to go find herself?
Stand by. I think I'm going to have to do a lot more reading to find
this has become a woman's book club, by the way.
Yes, it has. Yes. You know, I am a woman, but I've never been in a book club. Have you?
I have a guys book club, actually.
You do?
Yes.
What stuff do you read?
It's a bunch of nerdy guy friends from college, and so we're sort of heavy towards science fiction, but not like, sort of super hardcore, just sort of like speculative fiction, they call it. And then sometimes we do nonfiction. It's like we kind of rotate who chooses it, and the only rule is that you have to have read it yourself, so you can't recommend a turkey.
That's a smart rule. Speculative, does that mean like we don't know what's going to happen in the future?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just all over the place. Like it's like like interesting ideas. Yeah, we don't know what could happen. Like we read the 3-body problem. That was they did a series out of that. We read that, and I don't know. It kind of ranges all over the place, but kind of weird, eclectic interest. Not necessarily like the sort of beach read or maybe more literary things that sometimes book clubs usually.
Right. So you don't go through Oprah's favorite books.
I mean, I do personally. Yeah.
So do you meet in person?
No, we're all in different cities and different continents. So
and you meet on Zoom?
Yeah. So
That's
we started during the
cool.
pandemic, and then it's like completely different time zones. So just finding the same time is like itself like a chore sometimes. But
and then does conversation stick to the book versus like just hanging out?
mostly, I mean, usually like almost unfailingly one of us is late or forgot. So then we have like sort of conversation until then, but we pretty much stick to it, I think, just because then we kind of like ramble. I mean, we don't like get into our lives as much, I think, as other book clubs might, but we kind of like ramble about other ideas or cool things we've seen that are connected, that sort of stuff.
Interesting. I find the idea compelling. I was an English major, but I also don't want to add homework to my life.
Yeah, it is a little bit like that. But on the other hand, it's like it sort of gets you to read more books, and then like it sort of pushes you. Like I have like 5 or 6 books sometimes sitting around I'm not reading, so like it makes you finish the book on time.
Yeah.
If you take it from the library, you have to return it. So I like the little bit of the ticking time clock there.
Yes, the danger element
Yes.
of book clubs. All right, Tony has surfaced.
Well, there was nothing in the synopsis talking about her getting divorced, but then I looked at her information, and I'll put it this way. The book came out in 1963. She was married until 1969.
That's not conclusive.
There's
hypocrite.
Nothing in the synopsis that I'm seeing.
My sense of it was that, yeah, she may have done that herself, but the book is just about like the terrible domestic bind of being a woman and how unsatisfying it is.
Yeah,
so it sort of lays the groundwork for the
right. So maybe other people read it and then
Right.
pieced out, just like Daniel. So I have kind of breaking snack news. I don't even know if I would really call it a snack, more like meal news. I had a deep personal realization over the weekend.
Snack Chat.
I don't think I like fish very much. I know. If you
That's my favorite snack.
which makes our upcoming ad read very awkward.
fish in a pouch, fish bits. It's a portable fishy snack. It's Fancy Feast, or what would be? Anyone here have a cat?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I feel like there's probably some little cat treat in a pouch thing
Oh, yeah.
that would fit this ad read, which is not an ad read. Yeah, so
Fishables.
Fishables, yes. If you've dined with me in the past many years, you might think, but you ordered fish. You seem to like it. Yes, in my advanced age where I'm thinking life's too short to eat stuff you don't really like, I just realized anytime I've ordered fish, it's not motivated by like, man, I can't wait to get that fish in my mouth. It's more like it's healthy, it's this, it's that. It's all the other reasons. It's never over like I've got a craving that can only be satiated by fish. Sushi being an exception. I do like sushi. I enjoy sushi. But like this happened a while ago. Daniel and I used to go out and we would sometimes order oysters. We'd usually order like, not a ton, but half of however many we order for me and half for him. And then one by one, I would just be like, I'd have one. And they'd be like, I don't think I want any more. So I realized oysters not my favorite anymore. But yeah, we went down to my mom's over the weekend and we ordered from California Fish Grill, which I think they have one around here. You guys
I think so. I feel like I've seen this.
I ordered the salmon and it's fine.
I think salmon can be really hit or miss.
Maybe that's the issue.
Yeah, I think. I mean, fish in general, but I think salmon especially. Actually, Flo and I were talking about this the other day.
You were?
We were.
Oh my God! In the zeitgeist,
because she got some salmon somewhere, and we were talking about how
Salmon
you never know.
talk.
Yeah, you just never
Salmon
know.
talk.
It's extremely boring sometimes, and sometimes it's
I
delicious.
think sometimes they just, it's about what they put on it. And sometimes
Yeah.
they put great things on it, and that helps. It's a
Yeah.
template.
Mm-hmm.
I would yes, like a salmon, like a wet salmon with some capers or something. I could be into that.
I mean, the teriyaki salmon, like, how can you not like a teriyaki? Whatever.
I think I could maybe dislike it. Well, I just feel like I could like the sauce, but I'd be like, it'd be better
That's
without
what I mean.
this.
It's salt and sugar. Like, teriyaki
Yeah.
is like, unavoidable.
Right.
Undeniable.
It was just a little, you know what? It was dry and like crispy around the edges, and I didn't appreciate that. Rob, where do you come down on fish?
I think I agree with Tony. I think it can be really hit or miss because like if they get it and it's fresh and they like really do the right thing, then it's like it can be amazing. And then if it's not, it can just kind of like just lose the appeal really quickly. Like sometimes literally.
Yeah.
It sits around.
Right. What fish, is there any fish where you're like 100% of the time, yes? Give me that Dover
I
sole.
love how you reduced that threshold for yourself, and now you're imposing it for me. They got to get that in my mouth.
Yeah. Well, I'm just,
That's standard.
I bring it up because I feel like I am unique at this point. I'm not. There's other people who don't like fish. Arguably, it's actually hacky to dislike fish, but.
See, I think about it from in terms of, I'm the cook in the family, and we
you
have
are.
2 kids, and everybody sort of like has their own peccadillos. So like salmon is one of those ones that always works for everybody, and I actually do kind of a miso salmon, and like everyone.
Oh, miso salmon is
and
good.
everyone likes that, and so I'm like, to me, that feels like at this point, like if you got something that 4 people can agree on, then that's like victory. So I don't even think about it in terms of anymore. So
wait, I have a question. What is each person's food peccadillo?
They kind of rotate. Sometimes to do with diet. Sometimes they're just like not feeling like something too strongly flavored. Sometimes there's just like, I just had a lot of this kind of this region of cuisine. So it's like it's a bunch of moving targets. That's kind of the issue. But the salmon is like it's like home base for us.
Okay. Oh wow.
But not home bass. That would be completely
no. So like how many times a week are you salmoning it up?
At least 17 to 19. No.
Wow.
No, I do a rotation, and so I would put it on there first because I'm like, okay, this one's going to work. Everything else might be like up for debate. Get relitigated. So this one's solid.
How did you become the family cook?
I just like it. I like to do it.
Interesting.
I like to feel like the hunter-gatherer, but without the hunting and the gathering.
Right, but the preparing. Yeah. My dad liked to cook, and my mom made a couple things, but my dad always cooked. And then now our children are growing up in a house where neither of us really like cooking. So they're very hungry. No, I'm just kidding. They're fine, except our
I'm a mandated reporter, by the way.
Yeah, oh no. Our microwave broke. As I have talked about extensively on the show. We're going to get a new one delivered this week. But given that neither of us are chefs, we rely on this microwave. So
you want to hear about janky kitchen stuff? Both our toaster and our air fryer checked out at the same time. So we've been putting stuff in the oven on broil, just like toast and everything like that. And we keep saying it actually works fine most of the time. And then we're kind of like, we keep saying we kind of need to get a dedicated device for this.
Mm-hmm. But that is a way to do it.
It kind of works pretty well. Like half the time. Yeah.
So old fashioned.
Yes, it's very like 50s. Yes. I take a Valium afterwards and just cry in the closet. So.
Right.
Speaking of Betty Friedan, it all ties together.
And also Valley of Fatigue.
The Valley of
Fatigue. You need some
Fatigue.
grape juice.
Right.
Tony, everything in your kitchen working okay?
Yeah. We just cleaned it real well this weekend.
Really?
Real big weekend we had, yeah.
What else did you do?
You took meth. You took meth first, it sounds like.
Of course, yeah. It was the weekend after that. Yeah. Not much. We did a lot of cleaning this weekend and
I love that
watched
for you.
TV, and that's about it.
What'd you watch?
I watched a lot of football yesterday.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine.
I had self-hatred.
I got in and out of football, and I watched a little more this year.
What was the last word you said?
I don't think it was a word.
So like
it was
weird.
supposed to
Just
be
weird.
year, and then it came out.
Weird, like Alicent.
Just weird. And now where does Flo come down on football? Does she like it?
She doesn't hate it, but she doesn't follow it necessarily.
Gotcha.
Like she doesn't mind it being on.
So let's talk about God's Gang. I do want to do Hey Go Fuck Yourself because we have a lot of anger in this room.
I'm just glad you got those in the same sentence, though.
Yeah. But I'm waiting for Daniel to come back. But if he doesn't come back soon, then we're just going to go ahead and do it without him. But tell me about God's Gang.
All right, so God's Gang is an independent kids animated action comedy series. Was that enough descriptor now?
Yeah, I think so.
That I was approached to be the head writer for this entrepreneur in Israel who's like very successful in business and marketing and had this sort of spiritual awakening. He wanted to sort of bring people together who were fighting because of religion and, sort of create something for kids to kind of plant the idea about religions working together. So it's this superpower team. It's kind of like Power Rangers if they were Hindu, Muslim, Christian, and Jew. And they travel around in kind of a Scooby-Doo van. It's all very throwback Saturday morning style. And fighting sort of bad guys like evil corporations and aliens and stuff like that who are like common enemies for all Earthlings. And they all kind of are pals and like they all have like different kind of martial arts that they specialize in. and then sort of superpowers coming from their faith tradition. But it's not a religious show. It's like here's like a diverse bunch of people getting along, and the sort of subtext of it is like, we don't have to fight about stuff like this. We can all kind of like hang together.
How did October 7th affect it?
We've been working on it for a couple of years now. So this guy has gotten investors to fund the pilot, and we put it online to like discover an audience, because the studios are not going to touch religion. But I was working on October 7th, and it was, I have to say selfishly, it was really helpful for me, because I felt like there's so little we can do. Almost none of us can do anything about the situation, and no matter how you look at it, whatever you consider the problem of it or the problems. And I thought, this is great, because we can do something to like the big picture of the problem of divisiveness between religions. If we can take some step against that, like that felt like doing something kind of meaningful work. It's interesting is that the online people, they can be dicks sometimes. And a few of them were like, oh, this we happen to release like the pilot online kind of right before October 7th. Take that away, QAnon. No, but
interesting. I'm just asking questions.
Just some people were like, oh, isn't this awfully convenient that you're doing this right now?
What does that mean?
Which, first of all, if you know anything about animation, it takes like a fuck ton of time to make animation. So like, it's not like we can say, hey guys, let's make a 12-minute cartoon next week and release it. It takes like a year to do a
South Park can. South
Park, right. That's true. But The Simpsons takes like a year, and they're a fully funded studio backed, and I believe fairly successful property. But it's also funny. It's like, but the whole point is that you're saying it's convenient because the world needs to hear this. Like, so doesn't it seem like a good idea that we did it? Like,
right.
Like we sort of like took advantage of a situation to try to offer a solution. Thanks, Internet. As always.
Yeah. So do you write all the characters?
Yeah, so I didn't create the characters before we get into the names, which I think is coming. I didn't create them. This guy who came up with all this, like, hired a marketing team and an artist, and sort of hired everything but a writer, and then I came in and developed them and sort of came up with the storylines and sort of what their arc is going to be and sort of how they're going to interact and stuff like that. But I do, I write all the parts, so it's just a pilot. So I wrote the pilot of it, and if we got picked up the series, we'd hire a staff and that sort of stuff.
Cool. So what is the, because you're saying that studios don't want to touch religion.
They're it's dicey. You're afraid of getting complaints or about one person hating the fact that the other religions, like, we've gotten some stuff online where they're like, I don't like that the other religions represented as quote unquote equal to ours, which is like, then you definitely need to watch this show. Then you're part of the problem. But studios are like, they're very risk averse in general.
Do I dare ask what religion they want to be like denigrated?
No, it's just that it's multiple different religions.
Okay.
They're like one of these things is not like the other. Or three of these things are not like our only one true religion. And I'm like, bro, you got to watch the show because you need to hear this. But I think that the studios are very risk averse in general, and certainly now when all they're doing is sort of reboots and original IP.
Beetlejuice.
Yeah, exactly. So
which is a sequel.
Apparently it is.
or just you forgot what you said. Very short-term memory.
Exactly. Sidebar real fast. Okay. We had a thing in this room where I said, what is Beetlejuice? Because I had been hearing it and stuff, but I don't know. And then Daniel thought it was preposterous that I wouldn't immediately know it was a sequel. And I feel like there's nothing in that name that indicates it's a sequel. It could be a documentary about the making of Beetlejuice. It could be a musical about it. It could be a retelling.
Well,
who knows?
You knew it related to the movie Beetlejuice.
I suspected it did, but I wasn't sure.
All right. Well, you said, what is that? Like,
Well, how
the
else
only
am
other
I
thing
gonna
I could
phrase
think
that
it
question?
could be in my mind is like a documentary about the star Beetlejuice. Like, what other things are called Beetlejuice other than the movie Beetlejuice?
It's also kind of everywhere right now, too.
Yeah, well, there's,
You just gave me a very disapproving look.
Rob,
It's true that. But
do you feel that it's obviously a sequel to the movie from the 80s?
I think they didn't lead up to it. Like, they're marketing it now. And we live in LA, so we see things on bus stops, and I don't know, but I don't remember there being a big lead up to it, like with like some of the Marvel stuff or the Star Wars stuff, where like you're hearing about it forever. So you sort of,
right.
So I think in Allison's defense, I always defend the podcast host.
He is.
In Allison's defense, the person whose name is on the podcast.
Smart. Daniel.
I think it sort of, unless you're like a person who follows the trades in the movies, like it sort of sneaks up on you where you wouldn't necessarily have the brand awareness that you would have with like something else you've been hearing about forever.
Sure.
Also, like, remember when Cats the movie came out?
But Cats.
And you're
But cats is a word that, you could see used in many different contexts.
What about cats?
But
That's about a deli.
Beetlejuice is just, it's like saying, what is this Batman?
But that's
what
not
is this about?
No, that's not. Well, I understand where
And you'd be like, it's about Batman.
What if they called it the Beetlejuice, like the Batman? I think that would have been clearer.
Maybe.
Darker
Or it's
take.
like
Okay.
Ghostbusters. What's that?
Yeah, that's a fair question.
Well, of course, I wouldn't call it that. Beetlejuice is a play on the whole.
but I haven't seen Beetlejuice
well,
singular.
That's clearly what.
But if
this
it was
is.
called Dune, let's say, and I said, yeah, what if everyone was talking about Dune?
That's the Law and Order thing.
I don't know. Look, I will. Listen,
Right. That's a documentary about who's the guy who created those shows? Not
Dick
Stephen
Wolf.
Bochco. It's about Dick Wolf. Thank you.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
Your mind is a mystery to me. I will grant you this: that to you it is not clear. So I will acknowledge that it is not clear to you, and
That's like, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings.
To me, it is kind of.
I'm sorry
ridiculous.
you felt that way.
I want to switch to Daniel's side for 1 second. It's more bro code up here.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
Studio destroyed.
You guys
by
are so cool. Tony.
You don't even know.
I want to
cool
say
guys.
is that
Yeah.
since you
What?
just said something really interesting, you said since you hadn't seen the original, if you had, you would immediately get it because it sort of advances in a way that advances
Right.
the lore. Like it's
Right.
sort of like literally built into like if you say it, you say
You
it
say
three
three times he appears.
Yeah,
right?
so like if you hear that, you're like, oh, someone's saying it twice, and like you immediately that mechanism works. And to be fair, the movie is very targeted at people who were fans of the original, like and stuff like that. So it's just sort of outside of your your target zone.
So if I had seen the original, I would know Beetlejuice is a sequel.
Yeah,
immediately.
yeah.
Yeah. How do you
Wow.
feel about the movie title Liar Liar? Does that confuse you?
Well, no, because there's not a movie just called Liar.
How do you know?
That's a sequel.
Well, I
to
don't
Liar.
think there is. This is the Jim Carrey vehicle. I don't think there is.
How about Oh God, You Devil?
with George Burns?
Yes. Would you know that was a sequel?
Actually, well, first of all, it's Oh God, You Devil Book 2.
Oh,
There's-
they did?
there's-
And-
But t-
Well, there's
Wait, no,
two.
I
There's
think
two.
wasn't Devil the third one and Oh God Book 2 was the
Yeah,
second
there's
one?
three. That you're right.
yeah,
Yes.
thank you.
So, Oh God, Book 2 was with that little girl.
Weren't they all with the little girl?
No, the first one had John Denver. I fucking loved that movie. I watched it so many times. I wanted
liked
to
Oh
be
God,
that
You
little
Devil.
girl. Remember the slogan was "Thank God" because she's like, "Well, thank God tomorrow," and they're like, "Hey, that could really go somewhere." And then they like gave her an MRI because they thought she was crazy, but really she was just talking. Oh, I fucking love that movie.
I know.
Now, what happened in "Oh God, You Devil"? I do not
Well,
recall.
I think he plays God and the devil, doesn't he?
Oh,
in
really?
Oh God, You Devil. Like so, the
Sounds good. Sounds
George
like a good idea.
Burns,
Something he doesn't
like a
do.
red suit kind of situation.
Yeah, he does.
And you know what George Burns' sort of famous range of character characterization, like it sounded nothing like
It's amazing. You wouldn't
George Burns. Right.
You wouldn't know it's George Burns.
See, remember when you and I went to Cirque du Soleil Love, which is the Beatles one, and then I was like, oh my God, I love Cirque du Soleil. And so then the next night we went to Cirque du Soleil, the one where they're
the
in a
Nickelback
pool.
one. I said, I told you guys.
Right. And then I realized I don't love Cirque du Soleil so much. I
You
just
didn't like
haven't.
the swimming one.
I didn't. Was it called Mystere or
It's called
something?
the swimming one.
Yeah.
Oh, it was called. Oh.
It's
It's like Fringe title.
It's very like
The
French,
one with the swimming.
French
The one
Canadian.
with swimming.
I just like watching.
The one with the rotating platform.
I like watching acrobatics set to the Beatles music, I guess. But I realized, I like the specific.
And
It's
you really
sort
thought
of.
that's what they were doing again? Like this is
I had hoped. No, I didn't realize that's what I like. It's similarly.
This is some of their John Lennon era.
Yeah.
This is the
It
George.
was Yoko.
Yeah, the Yoko.
Similarly, I only like George Burns God movies that feature that little girl. When I was a kid, I didn't care for Oh God, the first one or the third one. But maybe now I would be
Somebody
able to
get
watch
this
them.
lady into a focus group because we're going to drive someone crazy.
I know.
Here's what I like. Okay, I've made a diagram for you.
All right. So, God's Gang, you were saying. I was asking,
okay.
like, what is... Because you're saying...
you were the bungee cord of hosts because you like snapped this thing back. Like this is the
Thank
second
you.
time I've been amazed by this.
Thank you.
It's so far away, I can't even see the hook, and you
See?
pulled it back.
No one else is amazed.
No.
No, other people are like, why is she bringing this up now? It's like, because it was on the end of my bungee.
Yeah.
Thank you. studios worried about touching religion?
Yeah, so they're just afraid to touch religion. They're very risk averse right now, and so that's why this guy raised money and said, "Let's put it online and show that people want this." And it's actually worked pretty well. It's got like 1.5 million YouTube subscribers. And here's the crazy thing: I hope you're all sitting down. I can see that you are, but
I am.
rhetorically, almost all the YouTube comments are nice.
Whoa!
Like you didn't think that exists, like in this reality, like
I wouldn't, especially not religion.
There's a few of like the sort of snark mode. So a few of them are just like yikes or no, just no, like that kind of like, And then they get beat down, they get ratioed, which is amazing for us to watch, which because we're very godly people, we like to see people get beat down.
Yeah, of course. Well, it's vengeful.
Yes. Exactly, it's Old Testament.
Yeah. Listen, if you need a voice, I do great voices, and I'm fun to work with. Tony, play a drop that shows my range.
What the hell just happened?
I don't know.
See, do you hear that range, though?
You can do a snare drum. That's amazing.
Yes, I can.
Tony, you're out of work.
Take a ride on the train.
Great
See?
reading, everything.
You didn't even know that was me.
Was
all
there an
right.
L in that word?
Very end.
It's like the missing T from your name.
This was in 4th grade. This was an insult, and I never understood it. And people would say, like, just that. Play it again. Take a ride on the train, Soul Train, and then it got shortened to just so. It was
Still
they
no
would
L.
just do
Still
that.
no L.
They would just go so.
You're just saying Sue.
Yeah, that's what they were. That was just the shortened version of the insult. I do not understand why.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the insult?
I have no idea. I still don't
But
know.
this is directed at you, or is it an all-purpose
Anyone.
insult?
It was all purpose in 4th grade.
I think it points to how insults really are all about intention. Like the actual, I mean, yes, there are clever insults, but a lot of times it's just like, I know what you mean, like the meaning behind. I know you're telling me,
It doesn't
fuck
even
you.
sound that vicious. It sounds kind of whimsical, right?
Right. But, out of the mouth of a 3rd grader.
I think the confusion was part of what was so weird about and like kind of ominous about it. Like, what does that mean? I know you just insulted me, but I don't understand why or how. Oh, sort of like when I did tennis camp when I was a little kid, and then I think someone said I fumbled, or they called me the fumbler, or something with fumbled, and I was like, I don't know what that means. Is that bad? I mean, it wasn't good.
It's like in our school, we had your mom wears pink combat boots.
Oh yeah, your mother was army. That's like an old school.
Yeah.
That's like from my parents' generation.
But it's like, why is that an insult? Like, okay, my mom's cool.
Like
my
your
mom's
dad,
badass.
your
Like,
dad
what?
wears pink combat boots. Would be a more
I heard
traditional
just
dumb
your mother
insult.
wears army boots was the variation.
Army
I heard.
boots.
Yeah,
I think it
Oh.
morphed from that at our school.
Yeah,
It took on a
maybe.
different, but it's still just so.
What's
It's
she
also like
supposed to
Your
wear?
mom's in
Pumps?
the army.
Yeah, exactly. Sounds like she's prepared for anything.
Right.
Right. All right, let's do Hey Go Fuck Yourself, because we need to blow off some steam, Daniel.
Oh my God. Well, my frustrations largely have to do with just the presence and existence of other people these days. But I just want to say, in Japan, one of the great things that I love about Japanese culture is there is this value placed in not inconveniencing other people. And it's like a consideration. It's a culture based on being considerate of other people. Like Japanese people would largely be mortified if they were holding up a line. They that's why they're quiet on trains. That's why they don't make eye contact. They respect each other's space. If you're sitting on a train and you have a backpack, it is understood that you put the backpack on your lap. Or wear it on the front if you're standing, so you're not bumping people. It's that kind of culture. But in America, we're the opposite. I swear to God, maybe 5% of people are fucking considerate of anyone else in this. Like, I just want to say, so drop off at the elementary school, for example. This is a hypothetical.
Definitely not what you came home yelling about and then saying, I'm going to save it for the show.
Like, Mondays are trash can days. And that means that all the homes around the elementary school have their fucking trash cans out. Fine. I'm not mad at them. But that limits the number of places you can park.
Mm-hmm.
If you are, I don't know, like a mom, and you get into your car don't do all your business in the car at that moment. There are fucking people waiting for that spot. Don't be that person. Like, just get the fuck out. Go park somewhere else where there's not people. Like, think of other people. I feel like so much of my frustration has to do with people just not thinking at all about the fact that there are other people in the world. And I know now that it doesn't have to be like this. The fucking scales have been lifted from my eyes. I've been to a fucking society where people do think of other people. So I just want to implore our dozen listeners that you
all of them are so considerate, though.
You be the change that I want to see in the world. You be that change. Okay? So to everyone who goes through their solipsistic little fucking lives, not thinking about me.
Hey, go fuck yourself.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm with you on that completely.
God damn it.
It's same thing, same source of all my frustrations
Right?
and anger these days. Yeah.
Like if
Driving anywhere,
just driving is such a big part of it. But like, it's like the thing of like, if there's a residential parking situation and there's the two driveway things, but there's enough for two cars, and there's a space, pull up to the front one.
Mm-hmm.
Every time.
Don't
Every time.
occupy the middle street. Don't pull up to the back and make someone have to back in. Pull up. Just consider another person. I know it doesn't do anything for you.
It's like
it doesn't make your life easier.
Narcissism. Like my car is the only car.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, that's good. You're a narcissist. Yeah, malignant narcissist.
They're narcissistic. Yeah. Yes. I love that. Yes, they're narcissistic. And like, I'm sitting there waiting for this fucking bitch to get. I'm like, and meanwhile, like, the bell's gonna ring.
Oh, you're trying to drop
and I got
off,
two kids I got to drop off at different places at that school, and she's just like, the lights go on in the rear of the car. The rear lights.
The tail lights. I call them tail lights.
The way they do when you're about to. And
then
I
she's
see
on
her
her phone.
looking in her rearview mirror, and so she turns off her car, and it's like, "Oh,
What
I'm
the
sorry.
hell
Are
is
you
that?
answering emails, cunt?" Like, and then so I go up all the way to the end of the block.
Why did she have to lurk there? Why didn't she move?
I don't know. She was, who the fuck knows? It's like, I go
Maybe
all
she
the way to
lit-
the end of the block. I turn around. I come back. There is still no fucking parking. I have to double park. That's when she decides to leave. It wasn't like she was waiting for somebody.
She just hates you.
It's like you're in line at a liquor store, let's say, and let's just say, and there's like three people there, and one's got one thing, another's got a soda, fucking another thing, but you have 12 scratchers. Or 12 fucking, things, and you got to do a whole goddamn transaction to get your lotto tickets. Let the other people go. Like, you don't make someone who's got a 5-second transaction have to wait 15 minutes for your fucking sorry ass.
Maybe you should get a 7-day waiting period before getting liquor. I think anger plus liquor doesn't sound like it would mix
Has
well
that
with
been
you.
imposed on me now?
Yeah.
But I'm the one who
here's
needs
the thing.
it.
But he's never buying liquor. What are you buying over there?
Scratchers.
He's buying Gatorade.
Okay.
I just buy
Mark, for an extra $1. Okay.
I know. Should I play the lotto?
No, I don't think so. Okay, maybe I am the person that you're talking about.
Sometimes. This is
But
all
there-
addressed. This is all a way of subtweeting my wife.
I have had the situation where I'll get into my car, not think there's anyone waiting. This only happens in parking garages. I won't think there's any where I am as someone who's like just kind of confused about spatial relations and directions in general. It only happens in parking garages, I think, because I can't see that well. Like it's not like a street where you can totally see someone waiting to get into your spot. So I'll be in there and I'll be like looking at my phone, and then I'll realize there is someone waiting, and then I feel horrible.
I mean, okay, like.
Oh, good. Watch him now defend me.
No, I'm not going to defend you. Like in a parking garage situation, if you miss it, you miss it. Like, okay, fine. Not great on your part, but
Not the same as
but like
dropping off your kids for
in
school.
a parking garage, you don't know necessarily. You know, if it's a situation where there are a lot of people and there's a time constraint, it's a pretty obvious situation to just like not fucking hang out in your car. Like get in, get out.
The principal should include that in his weekly email. Because remember, the preschool used to always remind people not to do that.
This
every
thing
week.
would drive me insane at the preschool, like fucking twice a week, because there would be people. There was like an area. It was a busy street. There was just a small area where you could park your car and let off the little ones. And if you couldn't find a parking spot there, you had to park like 2 blocks away. So, and there would be people who would park in those spots, and then they would just see someone. And then they would be like, oh, hey. And then I would circle the block like 4 times and see them still. There were a couple times when I would just sit there and I would just stare at them. Just like, are you going to get in your motherfucking car? Like, I hate other parents who socialize with other parents.
Oh, this is a thing.
Don't make friends. This isn't a place for you to make friends. This is a place to drop your kids off and go home and be miserable.
Can I confess something, Daniel?
Yeah.
I actually have not only related to this, I have a theme song in my head that comes up when for what I would say to cars who are doing this kind of thing.
Oh, really? What is it?
Because they're just like ambling along, blocking your shit, not getting
Take
anywhere.
your motherfucking time.
Yeah.
That song, it's like the Curb Your Enthusiasm.
It's a perfect-
Yeah.
Comes up on cue.
It's good.
Sometimes I do it out loud if I'm really mad.
It's good. That's why we have tubas to play that stuff.
Yeah, I bring a tuba with me. Don't you drive with a tuba?
We have a car tuba. Rob, what's your hey, go fuck yourself?
It's actually car related too.
My word.
But I actually, this is not what it's about. This is kind of the background for it. This is going to be like Inception. We have several layers of, I hate the whole buying car stuff, dealing with cars in general.
Yeah.
But like buying them, I've had just the same one for like almost 12 years since I moved here, and I had to buy a new one. It was just like it reached that point where like the repairs were more than what you can get to, if you resold it. It was so old and junky. So I had to get a new car. I hate it. So I went through CarMax, which was great. CarMax, it makes it very easy. I got this little car I liked. It was smaller. I could park anywhere. I enjoyed that because my kids are bigger. I don't have to put car seats in. And it's great. And it was just cozy. I really liked it. I was really happy. And I went through all that thing I hate. Got a good car. I was really happy with it. Had it for about 7 months. Parked at my friend's who I was visiting in Berkeley, and woke up in the morning to hear this huge crunching sound and people yelling. And I ran outside to see this semi truck had lost control. It was taking a shortcut through a tiny neighborhood and plowed into the side of it. Turned it 90 degrees. And kept going down the hill and only stopped because it smashed into someone else's yard.
Oh my God.
So it smashed the whole side of the car. And I had to go through the whole thing again and buy a car.
Oh no.
And and the way that, insurance and inflation works out, you don't really get back all your money. You get like most of it, it's okay, but it's like you're still out. So how'd
you get back from Berkeley?
I flew. I mean, and I had my kid with me. Now, thank God nobody was in the car before we woke up, but I had my kid and I had scheduled stuff. So we took a flight and, had to sort of we did have a nice day in San Francisco that we weren't going to have otherwise. So that was kind of a silver lining, but just that driver just threw off 7 months of well-being that I'd had and put me back in this.
Did he apologize? Did you talk to him?
Yeah. But I mean,
was he high or something? How does he not stop when he hits the first car?
I think that he was it was at the top of a hill. Berkeley's very hilly. And he was he was trying to take this shortcut. He was probably going too fast, certainly. Just lost control of it. Kept going, smashing into something else, and then smashing into someone's yard.
Just couldn't stop or something.
Yeah.
What kind of little car got smushed?
It was just a little Honda Civic that I got. And it was just really cute and comfortable and down low to the ground. And just the trunk was big, though. It was the perfect size for everything. I was really happy with my purchase.
That was your first mistake.
I know, exactly.
Oh, man. All right, well. Oh, hey, so you got to go, hey, semi-driver.
Oh, yeah. Hey, semi-driver.
Hey, go fuck yourself.
Well, I have one too. Mine's a little bit different. And this is a little bit of a trigger warning for disturbing story involving animal experiments. Do you guys know who Harry Harlow is? Do you know that term? Mm-hmm. So on the Monday show, I mentioned, and I can't remember why, but I mentioned I said, oh, Daniel was saying he doesn't watch my social media. And I was saying he doesn't watch
I avoid
me.
it.
He doesn't hear me. He doesn't see me. He doesn't get me. He doesn't listen to me. I am like the wire monkey experiment. And then I was trying to remember what that reference is exactly. I had this sense of it. It's like some experiment where they offered monkeys a cloth, like a soft fake mother. A real monkey, a real baby monkey, they offered it like a soft cloth fake monkey or a wire fake monkey. These are supposed to be like mother surrogates. And it, they prefer the warmth and the comfort of something squishy versus like a wire monkey.
I feel like, did we need a study for that?
Okay. So I was like, what? So then I went and looked it up afterwards though. And this motherfucker, who I'm sure advanced psychology in numerous ways, was such a sadistic prick. So the wire monkey experiment is like, okay, that's where it starts. And that's not like the worst just at that point. And it was like, I guess the notion was babies just like their mother because their mother offers sustenance. Now, I don't know who actually thought that, but he was disproving that because they would take the wire monkey and give it, and it would offer milk, and the cloth monkey would offer nothing, and the babies still chose the cloth monkey. But then there's like a dark thing where like, he also wanted to find out like what an abusive mother would do. So like sometimes they would like receive shots of cold air or spikes. And she's like, but then, and I'm not going to go into a lot of detail because it's too upsetting, but he was really fascinated by depression because he himself had experienced depression. So he came up with these like ways to depress the hell out of baby monkeys and break their social bonds and then study what happened to like if a super like a mother, how she treated her infants if she had been depressed by like being isolated for a couple of years. I mean, it's like worse upon worse upon worse upon worse. And I was lying in bed. And also he like got off on coming up with colorful names for the different experiments, all of which sound like horror movies. I'll just give you one. Pit of Despair. He designed one thing called the Pit
Valley
of
of
Despair.
Fatigue was one of them too, right?
Yes, exactly. So I was lying in bed and I'm like, I got to Google this. I got to see what this thing looks like. And then I remembered my therapist saying to me, because I went through a phase of like, I have to Google horrendous shit when I had postpartum depression. And she was like, don't look it up. Don't look it up. So I just like, I was proud of myself. I didn't Google this. I'm like, I'm not going to do this right before I go to bed. And then today I also am tempted to Google it. I'm not going to. But anyway, hey, Harry Harlow.
Hey, go fuck yourself.
It's kind of, it's very ethically dicey, but I understand that before these studies, maybe they didn't have the evidence to say that like, a baby needs its mother.
Don't we have
People
enough?
who are-
Don't we have enough examples of humans in various situations to start to draw these conclusions? Why do we need?
This
to put
was back in the
monkeys through this?
50s. Yeah, I was reading that at the time, people had a lot of qualms ethically with what he was doing. It's not just in the rear
But this
view.
was all like there was a big like upheaval in like parenting science, and Dr. Spock was like those early like they were sort of questioning a lot of the old what we thought we knew about.
Right.
what's important,
Yeah.
parenting, what babies actually need and respond to. That sort of stuff.
Right. I mean, maybe before then, they didn't realize how important comfort and nurturing and physical connection was. But also, it doesn't seem that surprising that if you take a social creature and isolate them, that you're going to damage them. I don't know. I remember going to a dog show with my parents, and there was someone outside handing out flyers against animal testing. And my dad refused. My dad was a doctor, and he refused one. And I don't think he said it to her, but he said it to me. He's like, I bet she takes vitamins. We wouldn't be able to take vitamins without animal testing. So he kind of defended it. But this to me is in a different category. So
Yeah.
I guess actually where I was going with that is at a certain time, I understand that without animal testing, a lot of stuff that we benefit from wouldn't be here. But it also makes me uncomfortable as hell, and it's really sad.
I know it's tough. I was like against it all. I felt like, oh, this is unethical. And then I lived near a scientist who worked at UCLA and did animal testing, and the groups that would protest that would stand outside of his house at 3 a.m. screaming. And now I'm all for animal testing.
Because that guy.
Fuck them keeping me awake at night.
Oh,
with
I
that
see.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
So
So
good
there
job.
you go.
Good job.
Let's do Just Me or Everyone.
Sometimes I ponder on something I have thought or done. Is it just me or everyone?
All right, Rob, you have one?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of a fake one because I sort of know it's everyone, but I'll present it as if I don't. It's those like really creative, almost fictional spam texts. Have you gotten any of those? I've gotten the ones where it's like they're clearly sort of fishing to lure you in and get your information.
Oh, yes, all the time.
So I got one, but I like the specificity because it's like the one I got recently was like, "Hey Mary, what time are we going golfing?"
Yeah.
Like there's a whole world to that.
Oh yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
like
Is that the
the known one right now?
But that's-
Because
Oh, it
my
is?
girlfriend got one last
That's
week.
so funny,
Yeah.
like specifically that you go to this trouble, but then have this one that like people are going to talk and like they're going to know it's like, and also what's the writer's room like for the spam text company?
Probably a pit of despair, honestly.
Yeah.
It's a
writer's room.
Yeah.
I was getting one when we were in Japan, and it was like,
Oh.
"Is this? Hey, Dennis, you know, it's been a long time. You know, something about like she was like saying she felt bad about the way things ended, and da da da, and she just kept texting, and I was ignoring it, and
then she
we-
called you, right?
Whoa.
yeah, she would call,
Jeez.
and
That's different.
The reason I think it was spam though is she sent pictures and it was always like the same picture. It was just weird. Like you wouldn't do that if I don't know. I felt like she was trying
Everything
to.
else was on the level.
Well, I feel like if that were real, you wouldn't send a thirst trappy picture along with it. Like
Yeah.
it just didn't make sense. And we were in the airport. I think we were in like baggage claim, and it was just like everything had just come to a head. Like there were so many frustrations.
Oh, well, our
Elliot
son was
sick.
throwing up.
He was throwing up. He was like the entire
We've
airport.
been up for 12 hours.
His entire journey through the airport after we landed from the gate through baggage claim through customs. His butt was on the floor. He was he scooted.
This is our
entire-
older son who said he was too sick to walk, and we, because he gets motion sick constantly, didn't quite. We did, but we didn't understand the severity. I mean, it turned out we all had COVID. But I mean, we didn't have it yet, but
Right.
he was coming
had
down
it,
with it. I don't think we recognized that, like, how awful he felt.
It was like
Well-
crying wolf.
Well, and they wouldn't give us a wheelchair for him, and it was just like I was carrying like 3 huge.
I don't think
like,
we thought he was
massively heavy
crying
bags.
wolf. It was more
You
just
just
like,
don't know how to gauge the severity.
well, it was more like, honey, just come on, we just have to get to like
Right.
to that point. Please just walk, you know.
Yeah.
And we also didn't have any extra hands to carry him till finally we did later.
Yeah, so it was like in the middle of all that, and this woman kept calling me, and finally I was like, what? Just thinking, I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, is this Dennis? I'm like, it's not fucking Dennis.
Stop fucking yourself. Stop fucking calling me.
Stop fucking calling me. God damn it. Like, I don't know. I was really maybe, and then I felt like later I was like, oh shit, what if that was like just somebody this is what they do to you though. Like, you
Who's
know,
they?
In reality, yeah.
it's like when I came out here to LA, and someone would approach me on the street and they'd be like, "Hey man, you know, I just need a bus ticket or whatever." You know, at first I was like, "Oh yeah, here, sorry," you know. And then I or friends would get taken advantage of. And now I just don't trust anyone who asks me for money, and you just feel like a lot of those people probably are just people who need money, but I'm not going to get conned again.
Okay, Republican.
Yeah.
You know
This
what
is my way of saying
You know what I've been getting a ton of? So my data has been in all the leaks. Not to brag, but I have been compromised in all the ways. It's been in all the leaks. So the new one I've been getting is someone sends me an email and it has a PDF attached. And then I open the PDF, which I've stopped doing. Have you guys seen
why
these?
are you doing that?
Don't open anything.
Well, I don't
the
anymore.
hell?
But it says something that makes me think I should open it.
Right.
I don't-
That's what they do. They don't send something that wouldn't make you want to open it.
Well,
It's very convincing. It's very persuasive. And it
the
looks-
first 14 times, but I've watched
Sometimes
that.
it can be. Like they mock up the logo. It looks exactly like
Yeah.
the real
So
thing.
then I open it up, and then it has my name and my address correctly, and a picture, which is supposed to be my house, but it's actually not my house. But it's like meant to tell, I think it's somewhere on the street, though. It's like meant to be like, we know where you are. And it's like,
Oh, this is
listen,
that kind of.
I've been getting so many of them, though.
Oh, that's super creepy.
We know what you've been doing. We know about the naughty sites you've been going to. We know you've been
this from
touching
Santa Claus? Like-
Yeah. We know you've been like touching yourself and thankfully I'm the worst mark for this because like I don't do that. Not that there's anything wrong with it. But I'm sure there's a fair amount like a teenage boy or I don't know, like there's plenty of people who'd be like, "Oh my God, how do they know?" But I actually
guess,
like
yeah.
I don't go to any porn sites and that's not what I do. But it's like we installed spyware on your computer. We have when you think that you have privacy, you don't. And so they have pictures of me touching myself to various sites and they're going to send it to all of my close contacts unless I send them a small sum of like $3,000. Like I think that this is them. Like I'm an honest, honorable person. So this can all go away if you just send the money. Just think of it as a lesson learned in being a little more careful. Blah, blah, blah. But so I keep getting this. So I don't open it anymore though. But I take it no one's gotten this one. I was hoping we all have.
I've gotten
Oh,
that
you
one.
have?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. We've used your webcam,
Yes.
et cetera, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
Stories.
this scam though, there's a very tragic version of this scam that I don't want to talk too much about, but people can look it up, where they will pose as cute girls and do this to young men, and there have been several where the young man who was otherwise perfectly happy ends up killing themselves because of this, because they end up taking a picture and sending it to the girl, and then it turns out, okay, now we have this picture, and it is a real picture because you sent it, and now we're going to ruin your life, and it's just horrible. It's like the saddest fucking thing, like that you could take an otherwise normal kid or
Freak 'em
normal,
out.
like a kid that wouldn't be thinking of something like that is what I mean, and then
There's a whole Black Mirror episode about kind of like with
Yes.
they manipulate someone into doing all these crazy, I think killing someone or like doing these crazy
Yeah.
things they claim they have.
but this is like a real thing, and
Black Mirror might be a real thing.
so anyway,
Rob, do they have an actual picture of your house?
I've never had that
Okay.
happen.
Yeah. It amuses me because I'm always like, hee, that's not my house.
That's
But-
funny. I got a weird sort of catfishy thing like Daniel's on LinkedIn of all places, which is kind of extra weird because you just don't. Sometimes on LinkedIn you kind of like you agree. I don't know if you guys use it, but like
I'm on it, but I don't
you
use
guys
it.
do the link. Like sometimes you don't know who someone is really at all the way you would on like maybe Facebook or something like that, or maybe Instagram. Like you like this person sounds like they could be a person I could work with, or maybe they could give me a job or something like that, or should be in my field. You don't really know. And there's this one who sounded like who was an investor and was doing some things I was kind of interested in, and like the whole resume is locked down. It looks really good, and so I agreed to it. I figured I could always unfriend. And then we started this conversation. It sounds pretty lit. And then suddenly she starts posting these pictures. It was like, here's me getting home from my big business meeting. And it's like, obviously like someone who's like in her yoga thing. Like, and it's like, I kept getting, it was like, you're not an investor, are you? Like,
right,
you want me to invest in you voluntarily.
right.
Tony, did you say you have one?
I can do a much lighter one if you'd like.
Oh, please.
We need light.
I don't know how, but
I was way too old in life. This was way too old, probably 15 to 20 years ago or something, before I realized that the Arby's sign was a hat. I always just saw it as like a weird shaped sign, and I want to know if anybody else out there never dawned on them
Do
that
you know
it's a
what
hat.
Arby's
you know-
stands for?
That's actually not true, apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What?
Are you talking about the roast beef?
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently I think it was started by some brothers, and it was...
The Arby brothers?
I think it was their last name started with an R. That might not even be true. I need to
Now we
got to
find out. I don't know that I knew it was a hat, but I also didn't not know. Like, I'm not like, oh my God. I think I just haven't thought much about it. I've never been to
I
an
didn't
Arby's.
either. I just thought, I just always saw it as a weird shaped sign.
Am I missing out on not on Arby's? Am I missing out on Arby's by not going?
I'm actually an Arby's defender. I'm rare.
Arby's
truther.
Arby's has its own.
Is that how you like your beef?
Roasted?
Rare.
Oh.
Thank you.
Yeah, Arby's is one of those things where it's good. It's really good, but you feel like maybe I shouldn't be eating this
That's all fast food.
because it's like a processed roast beef, but it tastes good.
My friend from college loved Arby's sauce. Tony,
Yeah,
is it the
Arby's
best?
sauce is good.
I actually don't even, as the kids say, I don't fuck with the sauce.
Oh, you don't? You don't fucks with the sauce?
No. But also, started by the Raffle Brothers. RB.
Brothers. Right. I guess you don't want to call your meat company after
Raffles.
Raffles. Right?
But there's
take your chances.
But there's like a Raffles Resort, which I always thought was a weird name. Maybe it's the same Roast Beef Dynasty.
Roast beef. I'd eat there. Roast beef
Yes.
dynasty.
That's a good name for that. That is a good name.
That is. Let's go into that based on the name alone.
Mm-hmm.
Roast beef. We can do unprocessed. I don't know if there's a way to do it, but unprocessed roast beef.
What are you talking about?
Isn't Roast Beef Dynasty just the show The Bear? Isn't that just like
Oh, yes. Which, by the way, we haven't watched the last 2 seasons. Should we watch them?
I have only watched part of the third, and it's gotten really heavy and like and I'm just like not into it anymore.
Like this episode?
That's what that was my thing a couple weeks
It's
ago.
taking itself very seriously, and
yeah.
it's not that they do that badly; they do it pretty well. But it's just like this is not what I signed up for.
Yeah, it tried too hard. I felt like where
I
I
think
thought
they started getting like kudos, and they kind of like it went to their head a little bit.
Yeah, the first 2 seasons are great.
Yeah,
I didn't watch the Emmys last night, but I saw there was a lot of people pushing back. Like,
yeah,
it's
in the
ridiculous
comedy
that
category,
that it's but it won, right? And so people are like, "Wait, what? Jeremy Allen White is funnier than Larry David and
Well,
Martin
they have
Short?"
the laugh track, which I think it's a choice.
Yeah. Someone should add that just to be like, for your comedy.
We probably have already.
It's like the opposite of the MASH episode where they didn't use a laugh
I
track.
think Hacks beat it last night.
Oh,
for
God,
the
what
show.
is it?
I think Jeremy Allen White won, but the
for what
show,
best comedy performer?
I guess.
Yeah, Hacks won for best comedy ensemble. I think.
I think for
not
best
like-
show also.
Oh, really?
I think.
It couldn't have been for the last season.
I
of
think it
Hacks.
was though.
Yeah.
I can't.
But it
what
wouldn't
the
be. I don't know if it would probably be this. No, I don't know. Actually, I never know with like streaming shows
Right.
when they came out. And
Yeah, that's the problem.
yeah, it would have
but
been. Like,
the last season of Hacks, come on.
Really?
I still enjoyed it,
I
though.
enjoyed it.
Really?
Yeah. I had a problem with the bear, but not Hacks. I liked Hacks.
You know.
Teach their own.
Teach his own.
I liked it. I liked it too, but I do remember us complaining. I remember like taking issue with some things or feeling like
I
that.
just felt like it's spinning.
There was
its wheels.
something that I felt like I don't think she would have really done that.
There's a lot of that to me, but I don't know. It's lost me, that show. But
It'll get you back.
I won't have any choice but to watch it because
right.
I have to watch it with you.
Well, you get to. Let's say hello and welcome to new patrons.
Bug honey, don't.
I am wrong button McGee today.
Allison wants to say thank you to a couple of special people out there who signed up to be new patrons. Patreon.com/Allison Rosen.
You should grab I am wrong button McGee today as a drop and then play that when you wrong button it up.
Or I could just say it every week.
That kind of defeats the
if you
purpose
think
of
you
the
can
drop.
reproduce that performance, sure.
Yeah, exactly. I would like to say hello and welcome to Allie Noth and to Casey Kahn. Welcome. I'm delighted to have you here. Thank you for the support. You might have noticed very few to none ads in this particular episode. It's a white label exclusive premiere experience. People pay through the nose for that, but you're getting it for free. So pay me for it by supporting me on Patreon or on Substack or the Full House on both.
Oh, wow.
Can you even? You get different things. You get beans on one side and you get
Sure.
content on the other. So really,
It's all content.
Bring back the beans.
all right. Let's see here. I think it's time for product picks.
Podcast Pals product picks.
All right, Rob.
All right, this one comes to me courtesy of my wife, but just wait for the premise. Amazon toilet paper.
Yeah, I'm shocked.
Hear me out. I know the irony. Yes, I know Amazon workers can't actually use toilet paper at work, but
Wait a minute.
Well, they can't
Am I
get
the
bathroom
last to
breaks.
know this?
Yeah.
What's the deal? They get
they
dinged?
get they're timed so like excruciatingly timed, like how quote unquote productive they are, like their machines, that they you get like a minute for a bathroom break or something like that.
Jesus.
Pretty gross. So, but we're going to go off that topic and support them. No, the very specific reason why we like the Amazon toilet paper, besides like we're still in that pandemic mode of like, oh my God, what if we run out? We're depression survivors,
Yeah,
like still
same.
hoarding toilet paper 4 years later. But the actual thing is that we live in a Spanish style house, which had this smaller toilet paper nook. And for some reason, there's this kind of like arms race on with toilet paper makers. Have you noticed it, like Jumbo, Mega?
Right.
Yeah.
Like between them and the Oreo double stuff, people like, it's like, how much giant
Right.
stuff can we cram?
10 rolls in one.
So these, they don't fit. They don't fit in your toilet paper nook. And so we put them on like top of the tank until they trim down and get smaller. Like, who wants to be doing that stuff? You want to put it in and be done with it. So
Right.
for some reason, the Amazon, maybe because they figured this shit out, like fit exactly into our old Spanish style. It sounds very romantic when I put it that way, right?
Yeah.
Our old Spanish style toilet paper nook.
Yeah.
I'm remembering, because we lived in a Spanish style apartment.
Yeah.
And I remember the shallow toilet paper nooks.
But how's the ply situation?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that there's sort of a ply standard nowadays. Like,
Is
it's
there?
yeah, I could think
Really?
it's all. Well, I mean, you also buyer beware. You can see how many ply. So
But I mean,
your butt mileage may vary.
do you feel you get a good wipe?
Yeah, I think they're
You
two.
feel you
They're
get
the
good
two that are
hand
a good
protection?
one. Listen, if that wasn't the case, we'd be done with them. Like, a nook is a nook, but got to worry about the other nook first.
That's right.
Oh, yes.
A nook for a nook.
Yeah.
nook.
Because we're like Charmin. What do we get? Plush.
Yeah.
We get the Rolls Royce of toilet paper in this
Yeah.
house.
All right, no big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good enough. Like if it was like that kind of Soviet style sandpaper toilet, we would
Right,
do it.
like a-
But I think
like
it's I think it's
Scott.
like Amazon. Like they've barely found the formula where it's just enough to
Mm-hmm.
be super cheap, but not enough where it feels. I don't know.
In
Right.
fact, given that we're downgrading all areas of our life for financial reasons, we should probably go to cheapo toilet paper and cheaper paper towels. Because I remember when we first started dating,
Please contribute to the Patreon.
I know. Yeah.
I remember because having been a college student, I'm sure we all at one point didn't treat ourselves to Kleenex because you can just use toilet paper, and we didn't buy actual furniture because you can just get it off the street or get it at Salvation Army, and you get cheap toilet paper and you get cheap paper towels. And then I remember at some point being like, look, I am now at a station in life where I buy furniture, I have Viva paper towels, and I have really nice toilet paper and nice Kleenex.
Anyway,
I don't know if we can sustain this paper.
it's not breaking the
Consumption.
bank, honey. Well, or you know what else? You could stop using half a roll of toilet paper every time you go to the
Oh
bathroom.
shit! Here it comes.
I mean, let's be honest. Who's using the toilet paper in this house?
Well, I'm a lady.
No, I'm telling you, my wife has endorsed this. She would not settle for toilet paper that was not comfortable. So
It's not even that. It's that it's like, I just imagine her going when she does like one wipe.
That sounds like, is that people who are only hearing this are going to think that you're imitating me on
I'm
the
rolling
toilet.
the toilet paper over your hand.
Right.
it looks like you're doing the speed bag right now.
Yeah, it's kind of like what it is. She's sort of the Muhammad Ali of using toilet paper.
First of all, I don't fold like that. Is that what you do? You wrap it around your hand?
No, I'm
That's
imagining
so
that's what you
excessive.
do.
Okay.
It's like you're about to break into a window and steal something. Just protect your hand.
Yeah.
That's right.
I do tape my fingers. I tape my knuckles before I go in for a wipe.
Yeah.
Cut me! I got to shit.
All right. My product pick is, where did I put it? I have a book by
It's
Cole.
literally under
Oh,
your
okay.
pad.
Under my pad. All right. So Cole Imperi, whom I had on this podcast, she's a thanatologist, which means she studies death and grief. And I went over to her super cute new place that she lives last week, and we hung out, and it was delightful. But she wrote this book called A Guide to Grief by Cole Imperi, and it's illustrated by Bianca Jago. And it's really good. I think it is actually for younger people, but I feel like adults would benefit from this really well, would benefit from it as well. Just a lot of sort of fundamentals about grief. And it's also like a friend to have with you as you experience loss and grief. And I don't know how much I've talked about how helpful she was to me after my dad died. I think I have, but I was debating whether I wanted to see his body or not. And I was leaning toward, I don't think so, I don't need to, I'm afraid of it. And I talked to her and she's like, listening to you talk, I just think you might, I don't think she said benefit from it because she was very careful not to tell me what to do. But she's like, think about if you might be open to it. And we just talked about that. And after that, I realized I was open to it. And long story short, I'm so glad that I chose to, we ended up having a little like very small service at the crematory. That sounds so dark, but that is where it was. And I had a moment to talk with him. It was very one-sided, but still, it was. I'm so happy that I chose to do that because I feel like it helped me immensely. And I also just feel like I've experienced a lot of grief in my life that felt like I never got any closure other than just time. Like it feels very jagged when I think back on this. But with losing my dad, I feel like I really, whatever the best way you can grieve is, I feel like I did that and I'm thankful for that. And I do think that Cole was very instrumental because she's just very knowledgeable about all this. So anyway, long story short, get A Guide to Grief by Cole and Perry. It is out October 1st, but pre-orders are so helpful and you can get it on Amazon. I'll put it in the Podcast Pals product picks section of my Amazon store.
Great.
It's your turn to say great.
Great.
Rob.
Great.
Great. I don't like the way I said great. Tony, cut that. Great. Oh, yeah. That was the one.
Oh, yeah.
That's the one. Well.
I have one.
Oh. Did you tell me you had one? Oh, you did. Yes. That's this little note over here. All right. What?
Well, actually, I have a recommendation, and then I have one, which I didn't know it was out. There's an Alex Gibney documentary, 2-part documentary on Max about David Chase and The Sopranos. I don't know how long this thing's been out. I heard nobody talk about it.
I didn't know about it.
And it is, Gibney's great.
Who is he?
He's just a very prolific documentary filmmaker. He's made he made Enron, Smartest Guys in the Room, just like a ton.
What about Guantanamo Bay, right? Or something?
Yeah, like he's made a ton.
Beetlejuice.
But he's really
Documentary.
But he interviews David Chase, and the thing about David Chase is that he doesn't like to talk about himself. There aren't a lot of just in-depth sort of interviews with him. And what's hilarious is he seems to have been a little bit hoodwinked here, because at the very beginning he's talking about himself, and then he goes, I signed up to do a documentary about The Sopranos, and this seems to be about me. And then it's like, doom, da 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 doom, doom. It's like, yep, it's all about you, buddy. But it's so good. And if you liked The Sopranos, or even if you didn't, probably wouldn't like it if you didn't. But if you did, it's so good.
When did you watch it?
I watched the first episode and a half last episode.
Oh, it's a series.
It's two like hour and a half.
Oh, okay.
So this is what you do when I go to bed.
I was just gonna watch like 5 minutes of it, and I was just like, I don't know, like, with that show, it's like, it's great. I love The Sopranos, and then every time I watch any of it, it's just like, oh, this was so good.
Mm-hmm.
Just love it so much. And Gandolfini, and all this like behind the scenes stuff, and there's all sorts of footage of them like, shooting these scenes that you've never seen before. It's where they're, I don't know, it's great. But my product pick is I'm cutting my own hair now. That's the deal. Okay.
I love it. I love this new direction for you.
And I got these clippers, and they're really good. So I'll put them on there.
What are they?
And they've got like a skull on it, which, by the way, pretty cool.
Wow.
But it's good. It's got all the attachments. It's really
these are no lady clippers, These are for like dangerous dudes who have their own hair.
This is for dudes.
This is from Cry for Help Industries, right?
Yes. And so
Cool
as. By the way, there is this like aesthetic to like male hair salon, which is the skull, and I feel like is the skull.
Feels like you failed at your.
Yeah, like the perfect example of a good haircut. Not sure.
Is this also where you bought Elliot's pomade? That's like
No, but that's what I was thinking. Like
what
that
is
also had a
called?
skull on it.
Suaveade.
Something like that.
Yeah, that was also like it's not your mom's kid's pomade.
Oh, is it like it's like Suavecito or something
Yes,
like that? I
that
feel
is
like I've
exactly
seen
what it is.
Yeah, I think they sell it at like Floyd's or something, don't they?
Of course.
Yeah,
Yes.
it must. Yeah. Well, Elliot's hair gets really long, and well, that's the other thing. It's like I'm gonna learn to cut their hair, to save some money, but also,
So we can have great toilet paper as a trade-off.
well,
Patreon.
also because like getting to the salon is always like something that takes us months and months and months, and meanwhile their bangs get over their eyes. We had a situation when Elliot was in kindergarten where the teacher was like, I think something's wrong with his eyes. He's not tracking the
Oh
thing.
yeah, we took him to and I was like, I don't think so. But we took him to an eye doctor just because she made us.
Yeah,
worried
and then it
about
turned out, no, he just needed to get his fucking haircut. So I feel like, how hard could it be to cut hair?
I mean, that is probably an insult to all of the hairstylists listening.
Well,
But-
I mean, to do like,
But here's the thing that
fancy
they don't know
styles,
about
but-
you.
yeah.
Well, they do know this about you. This fireplace behind us, you made that. Like you sculpt things. You're
Right.
anything you want to. You make small costumes for Halloween. Anything you want to make, you watch YouTube videos and you learn how to make it.
There-
You're very good at stuff. So
Anything-
you can figure out hair cutting.
The way I look at it is anything people do is something that you can do. Like, you may not be able to do it as well. Like, I can't play basketball in the NBA, but I could play basketball. Like, anything a person has done is a thing that can be done. So you can do it.
This is
I'm going to
maybe
go
work
conduct
on
some
that
bypass
philosophy.
surgery, I think.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you could do home surgery if you had a good YouTube video.
He's good with his hands, right? He could.
Honestly,
Yeah,
like,
probably.
Would you get surgery from
He
Daniel?
can do my history.
I bet that I could learn to do some basic surgery. I don't want to. But if I just, read a book or something like that.
Well, so I look at these. There's like Reddit subreddits for people who do their own Botox and filler and stuff, which seems so scary, especially filler, where there's all sorts of risks. There's all sorts of risks with all of it. But for some reason, I like to look at it because they have a lot of recommendations for products, and these are people who are like super obsessed with this world. But more and more, I'm like, I mean, but could I learn how to do it? Like I did IVF. I know how to give. I'm comfortable
Don't
giving my.
start giving-
I'm not going to.
Jesus Christ.
I'm not going to stick needles in my face. But you read about it enough. You
This is a
begin to
slippery
think
slope.
maybe I could
did
do
see
it.
a thing on Twitter that people were
Again, I'm
sharing
not going to do it.
where someone was like, you can go to the feed store and get this horse electrolyte. It's like a big bucket of, it's called like an apple a day, and it's for horses, and it's electrolyte. And they're like, did you see this?
No,
Oh,
but I'm
and
just
it's like-
laughing at this.
And it's like people like, I tried it. It's actually pretty good, and I feel so great, and it's so much cheaper than Gatorade, And you're like, yeah. You think about it, you're like, so this is the slippery slope to ivermectin and all that
Totally.
shit.
I was thinking if you're going to the feed store, get a dewormer.
The whole like I can do it myself thing can be a bit slippery.
Or stop buying Gatorade at a liquor store. Just go to a friggin' Smart and Final and get a 8-pack of it.
That is where we
There
should be
is
getting
a
it because
yeah.
it is expensive. He doesn't always splurge for the liquor store Gatorade, but Smart and Final is
Special
probably
occasions.
cheaper than.
Yeah, my son goes
Fancy.
to it like several things
So
a
you-
week. So we just buy the giant packs of it.
That's the way to
Honestly,
go.
I think
We have-
Daniel goes to the liquor store to buy Gatorade
Yeah.
when he's
Mine's
just
Gatorade. I'm doing air quotes right now, honey.
when he just can't handle it anymore.
yeah,
That's it's his masculine
That's
mystique.
your,
When
that's
he's
your
like,
eat, pray, love.
It is
Yes.
a bit of a journey that I can go walk around.
yeah, when he's like, I need a break because I'll be like, where is he? Like,
This is
he's
me
at the liquor
pretending to
store.
leave the family behind. Like I can just go, right? I can just keep driving. Yeah, I could keep driving though.
Wait, so you
Good
don't
luck.
just go to the one that's really close?
I do.
Yeah. I hope you
There
drive
is
there.
one that's like an extra block away. If I really need to go.
Really had a day.
Yeah, it's been a day. Yeah.
Well, this has been too much fun, and this has been an illegal amount of fun. Thanks, everyone. I would like to thank everyone. Rob, where might we find you? Where can everyone find God's Gang?
I'm at robcutner.com, shockingly, and I encourage people to go to godsgang.com, and like I was saying, like and subscribe, because that's going to be the votes that will actually persuade studios to make it. So check it out, see if you like it.
Wonderful. Daniel.
Daniel Quantz at the places that you go to find people.
Tony.
Motion City Soundtrack will be playing the When We Were Young Festival next month, October 19th and 20th, I believe. Yeah, 19th and 20th in Las Vegas. I think tickets are still available, at least for one of those days. So that's about it right now.
Great. Listen, if you like what you're hearing, or even if you don't, please leave us a review wherever you listen. 5 stars is my favorite number. And you know what? Even if you have harsh words, but you listen to the show, do 5 stars and then just rip us a new one in the comment. I don't care. But don't hurt the podcast you love. I already mentioned Patreon and Substack. Oh, I am doing a project where I'm posting a lot on TikTok to see if it's true that if you post a lot, eventually the algorithm rewards you. Thus far, not true, but so much day in the life posting. You can see the studio. You can see me make coffee. I mean, compelling content. Follow me on TikTok at the Alicent Rosen over there. I'm also beginning to put them on YouTube as well, because people on YouTube are like, well, we're not on TikTok. So anyway, follow me everywhere, please. Thank you for listening. I love you. You matter. Goodbye.
Hey, do you know about the Alicent Rosen Show?